The two-party system is a scam. All over the world on election day, citizens are faced with a binary choice between the lesser of two disappointments, and the only winners are the two major parties and the donors and lobbyists from whose hind teat they suckle. But here in Australia, we're on the verge of ending this Team Red, Team Blue nonsense once and for all. And you know the major parties are scared when they say things like this.
I counsel all Australians against a roll of the dice on independents or minor parties. A vote for anyone other than the Liberal and National Party candidates, and there is a risk that Australians next week will find themselves no certainty at all about their future.
They'd much prefer we stick with the stable, mature discourse of the current system.
Here. Mr. Potato Head.
Jack the Ripper.
Herpes. Left hanging. Carp. He was drunk. Just like the Deputy Prime Minister's face.
You're so macho.
Order.
Many Australians are tired of career politicians behaving like petulant preteens and are increasingly looking to independents and minor parties to shake things up.
Being able to hold the government to account, no matter who they are, is an incredibly important role for anybody who's given the opportunity to do so. If the community does band together, there are ways to get in and have a voice. And the reality is there's not many people I speak to within the community now who don't see the value in having independents in the Senate.
That's Ricky Muir, a monochromatically bearded motoring enthusiast from rural Australia, who with no prior political experience found himself elected to the federal Senate almost entirely on preferential voting. Now you might think that's undemocratic, but preferences mean that your vote isn't just a yes vote, it's also a powerful no vote. Here's how it works. Jen's racked up a line of coloured liquids to represent the primary vote in a hypothetical seat. Let's call it Stankonia. At first count, you can see that one of the major parties is well ahead, but look carefully at how many people didn't vote for major parties. As we move through each count, the candidate with the least number of votes gets eliminated, but your vote doesn't die with them. It moves on based on your preferences, and eventually gets our independent candidate across the line. Recent polls suggest that support for candidates who don't belong to a major party is at an all-time high and climbing. But there are two common fears that stop people from voting independent. One, they think an independent can't make a difference because they're just one person. They lack a large party structure behind them. But we think that's a good thing.
When I was in the National Party, I thought I was busy. What I realised when I moved to independence is that I'd only been talking to half the community, because only half the community was comfortable coming through my door and talking to me. And so I was shaping a lot of my views and a lot of my work around half the community's values.
For independents like Rob, every vote is a conscience vote, and they can hold the government to account. Independents are like your best friends. They'll support you if you're doing a great job, but they'll pull you up if you're being a total dick. If only Campbell Newman had a few more friends. Or a Senate. The second fear is that a parliament filled with independents and minor parties will be chaotic and dysfunctional.
There will be a cabinet and there will be a Prime Minister. The majority of legislation goes through a cabinet process. That wouldn't change. It would just mean that maybe more than one party would be sitting at the table. And rather than that being something to fear, I think that's incredibly healthy. There can be much more confidence that this isn't just a lockout and a shutdown.
We, as a movement, don't believe that the political paradigm that we exist in now is particularly satisfactory for the 21st century. We really think that we need something new to actually get people excited and want to make great decisions for their country. Flux is a political system. It's a new model of democracy that we think is going to absolutely revolutionise the way that we make decisions, not only in this country, but around the world.
That's Flux co-founder and Senate candidate Nathan Spataro. Flux works on the principle that voters should have more than just one opportunity every 3 years to influence how political decisions are made. And if, like us, you're wondering why in 2016 we're still voting with pencil and paper, Flux has an alternative. You download an app, vote on legislation, and your Flux senator, who has renounced their autonomy, translates thousands of your votes into their one Senate vote.
The notion that when you're having a discussion about politics with your friends and family, and you say to them, you guys are all really upset about what the government is about to do, I have an app on my phone that is going to let me vote on what I think we should do. You guys can download it right now for free, sign up, and then do the same.
A government that isn't dominated by party politics is not chaos. It's the original model of democracy.
If the legacy is left, that ordinary Australians, everyday Australians can stand up, they can learn the role, and they can represent their peers and do it with pride, that's something I'll be incredibly proud of for the rest of my life.
So if I've got one message, it's to do your homework and to really have a look at the cattle in the field and to choose the best representative for your area. They may be in a party, but there's a really good chance they may not be as well. And please, don't let that opportunity slip. It matters too much for the nation.
The major parties are going to extraordinary lengths to try and silence the independent voice. And they can spend as much time as they like giving each other preferential reach-arounds, but those deals only work if we blindly follow their how to vote cards. So tear them up and go into the polling booth with your own plan and number every box. And as we know, every campaign needs a hashtag. Here's ours. Every box needs a digit. On July 2nd, if someone offers you a how to vote card, politely refuse. Instead of perpetuating the feckless two-party system, you can use your vote to send a message. Simply number the boxes of all candidates in the order that you think is best. And remember, it's not just a yes vote, it's also a powerful no vote, because whoever you put last, those other boxes you numbered will fight to the death to make sure that candidate doesn't win. Australia's preferential voting system can work for you as long as you put a digit in every box.
Every box needs a digit.
Authorised by J. Dana for the Undercurrent Brisbane. The Undercurrent is not affiliated with any political party or candidate.
Oh, no.